I want you to look at whatever drink is in your hand right now, or think about the one you had last weekend, because what I am about to tell you is going to change the way you see it forever. Not because I am here to judge you, not because I think you are stupid, but because I spent months digging through the research on alcohol, peer-reviewed studies, NIH data, global health reports, and what I found genuinely disturbed me, and I think you deserve to know it. Here is what the alcohol industry does not want trending. Alcohol kills more people every single year than terrorism, wars, homicides, and car accidents combined. Not a typo, combined. It is responsible for over 3 million deaths annually worldwide. It causes 8 types of cancer, destroys the liver, shrinks the brain, weakens the heart, and has 400 million people, that's 1 in every 14 adults on this planet, trapped in a cycle of dependency they never saw coming. And the most terrifying part? Most of the damage is invisible, happening quietly deep inside your body while you feel absolutely fine, while you think you have it under control, while you are toasting to good health. Today, I'm walking you through exactly what happens to your body from the very first sip, minute by minute, organ by organ, year by year. By the end of this video, you will understand alcohol in a way most doctors do not explain, and most people never learn until it's too late. The first sip, what happens in the opening minutes? The moment alcohol touches your lips, the clock starts, and the process is faster and more invasive than most people realize. Alcohol, the technical name is ethanol, is a remarkably small molecule. Small enough to dissolve in both water and fat. That combination means it can penetrate virtually any cell and tissue in the human body. There is no real barrier it cannot cross. Within minutes of that first sip, it is already moving through your stomach lining and into your bloodstream. About 20% absorbs immediately through your stomach. The rest flows into your small intestine, where millions of tiny villi, finger-like projections lining the intestinal wall, absorb it rapidly into the bloodstream. That alcohol-rich blood heads straight to your liver through something called the portal vein. Your liver is your primary detox center, and it is about to get very busy. Here's the problem. Your liver can only process roughly 1 standard drink per hour. 1! So unless you are sipping extraordinarily slowly, your liver falls behind almost immediately. The overflow does not wait in line. It goes straight into your bloodstream and rides directly to your brain. The brain takeover. What alcohol is actually doing up there? When alcohol reaches your brain, it does not knock politely. It flies in and begins rewiring your neurochemistry, and scientists are still working to fully understand just how complex that interference is. First, it numbs your neurons, slowing them down and disrupting the communication between brain cells. It suppresses glutamate, the brain's primary excitatory neurotransmitter. Less glutamate means less brain activity, less sharp thinking, slower reaction time. At the same time, alcohol reduces activity in your amygdala, the part of the brain associated with fear, threat detection, and social anxiety. This is why after 1 or 2 drinks, the tension in your shoulders melts away. The awkwardness you feel at parties starts to dissolve. Strangers feel more approachable. And then alcohol triggers a dopamine release, the same feel-good chemical your brain produces when you laugh, connect with someone, or hear a song you love. It also releases endorphins, the chemicals tied to human bonding and shared joy. This is not a side effect. This is the core of why alcohol works socially and why it is so difficult to walk away from. Your prefrontal cortex, the CEO of your brain, responsible for judgment, impulse control, planning, and self-awareness, gets stunned. Decisions that sober you would never make start making sense. You say things you would normally filter. You take risks you would normally weigh. You feel more you. And that feeling is real, and it is powerful. And it is also exactly how the trap is set. As your blood alcohol concentration continues to rise with each additional drink, the effects intensify. Coordination starts failing, vision blurs, speech slurs, memory formation begins to break down. The hippocampus, your brain's memory center, can be so disrupted by rising alcohol levels that it stops recording new memories entirely. This is how blackouts happen. Not that you forget what occurred, but that your brain never stored it in the first place. That conversation, that decision, that moment, it simply does not exist in your memory because alcohol prevented it from being written.
The morning after. Why your body is screaming. You wake up. Your head is pounding. The light feels like a weapon. Your mouth is a desert. Your stomach is churning. You are piecing together fragments of a night that does not fully exist in your memory, and a wave of anxiety and shame hits you before you have even sat up. This is not weakness. This is your body telling you exactly what it just went through, in the most honest language it knows. The headache comes from dehydration. Alcohol suppresses a hormone called vasopressin, which normally tells your kidneys to retain water. Without it, your kidneys go into overdrive, you urinate far more than you take in, and you wake up severely dehydrated. Your brain literally shrinks slightly from fluid loss, pulling on the membrane surrounding it. That pulling is the headache. The nausea and vomiting from the night before are your body's defense mechanism. Its emergency eject button. When your liver breaks down alcohol, it produces a byproduct called acetaldehyde, a chemical that is actually more toxic than the alcohol itself. When acetaldehyde builds up faster than your liver can clear it, your body tries to expel it. That is the vomit. That is the nausea. That is your body fighting. Your sleep was also a lie. You may have passed out quickly, but you did not actually sleep. Alcohol suppresses REM sleep, the deep restorative stage where your brain consolidates memories, processes emotions, and repairs itself. You got unconsciousness, not rest. That is why you wake up exhausted despite hours in bed. And that exhausted, foggy, emotionally raw feeling, that is your brain running on fumes. This is the section I need you to pay the most attention to, because this is where the real damage lives. Not in the hangover, not in the embarrassing night out, in the quiet, invisible, accumulating destruction that happens inside your body over months and years while you feel perfectly fine. Your brain slowly shrinks. Acetaldehyde, that toxic byproduct produced every time your liver processes alcohol, attacks your neurons directly. Over time, it shrinks them and severs the connections between different regions of your brain. Brain regions that once communicated clearly begin to lose their signal. Your memories fade faster. Your thinking slows. Your risk of dementia rises significantly. And if you began drinking in your teens or early 20s, the damage is catastrophically worse because the human brain is not fully developed until around age 25. Drinking before that age is like smashing wet cement before it sets. Research has found that binge drinking in late adolescence is one of the highest risk factors for early onset dementia. This is not a fringe finding. This is peer-reviewed science from multiple institutions. Your liver is dying in silence. Your liver is extraordinary, resilient, regenerative, and capable of absorbing enormous punishment, but it has a limit. Alcohol disrupts fat metabolism, causing fat to accumulate in your liver cells, a condition called fatty liver disease. Here is what makes it so dangerous. It has no symptoms. None. You feel nothing while your liver silently fills with fat, then becomes inflamed, then develops scar tissue. That scar tissue is fibrosis. As it spreads and hardens, the condition is called cirrhosis, irreversible scarring that progressively destroys liver function. Every year, 600,000 people die from alcohol-related liver destruction. Many of them had no idea anything was wrong until it was far too late to reverse. Your heart is being weakened. Chronic alcohol use weakens the heart muscle, a condition called cardiomyopathy, making it progressively harder for your heart to pump blood efficiently.
It raises blood pressure, triggers arrhythmias, and increases the risk of both stroke and thrombosis. For years, moderate drinking was believed to offer some protection against heart disease. That claim has been significantly revised. More thorough analysis of the research shows that the supposed protective effect was an artifact of flawed study methodology. There is no safe level that clearly benefits your cardiovascular system. What is certain is this: 500,000 people die every year from alcohol-related cardiovascular disease. Alcohol is a carcinogen, and most people do not know it. Let me say this clearly. The National Toxicology Program of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services classifies alcohol as a known human carcinogen, not a suspected one, a known one. Alcohol causes 8 types of cancer: cancers of the mouth, throat, esophagus, liver, colon, rectum, and breast. The risk is not reserved for heavy drinkers. Even 1 drink per day increases a woman's risk of breast cancer by 5 to 15% compared to women who do not drink at all. Worldwide, alcohol is responsible for approximately 440,000 new cancer cases every year, leading to 400,000 deaths annually. And yet, when most people think of cancer risk factors, alcohol rarely makes the list. Cigarettes do, obesity does. Alcohol somehow escapes the conversation, even as it causes cancer at comparable rates. The rest of your body is taking damage too. Your pancreas becomes inflamed, a painful condition called pancreatitis that can progress from acute attacks to chronic inflammation, increasing your risk of pancreatic cancer and diabetes. Your immune system is compromised. Even a single heavy drinking session can suppress your body's ability to fight infection for up to 24 hours afterward. Your gut lining becomes permeable, a leaky gut that allows toxins to escape into your bloodstream and disrupts your microbiome. Your bones lose density and become harder to repair when broken. Your muscles waste. Your skin ages faster. Your hormones are disrupted. Thyroid function, insulin sensitivity, reproductive hormones, all thrown off balance. Alcohol does not attack one system. It attacks all of them, simultaneously, progressively, and silently. The weight gain nobody talks about. Alcohol contains 7 calories per gram. That is nearly as calorie-dense as pure fat. And unlike fat, alcohol calories carry 0 nutritional value. A standard glass of wine delivers up to 158 calories, a pint of beer up to 222. 5 pints of beer a week adds up to nearly 58,000 calories in a year, the equivalent of consuming an extra 16 pounds of fat annually from drinks alone before you have eaten a single meal. And then alcohol makes you hungry. It suppresses the hormones that regulate satiety, leptin and GLP-1, while disrupting the signals that tell your brain you are full. So you drink, you lower your inhibitions, and then you eat things you would never have chosen sober, in quantities your body did not need. The result is weight gain that becomes a gateway to metabolic syndrome, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and chronic inflammation. The 400 million people nobody is counting. When drinking escalates to the point where it causes real harm to your health, your relationships, your finances, your judgment, you have crossed the line into what clinicians call alcohol use disorder. An estimated 400 million people are currently in this territory. That is more than the entire population of the United States, 1 in every 14 adults on Earth. I need to destroy the stereotype right now because it is keeping people from recognizing themselves. The image of the alcoholic as a homeless person with a bottle in a paper bag, or the aggressive drunk stumbling through domestic scenes, represents only a fraction. A landmark U.S. study found that up to 50% of people with alcohol use disorder fly completely under the radar. They come in 2 main categories: unproblematic young adults, and middle-aged professionals, people with careers, families, social lives, people who drink 4 beers a day and get drunk every weekend, people whose friends would be shocked if they were ever described as having a problem, people who do not see it themselves. This is what makes alcohol uniquely dangerous among all substances. It is the only drug so widely accepted, so casually consumed, and so easily ignored that people develop clinical dependency while maintaining the appearance and even the self-perception of complete normalcy. No other drug gets that close to the edge of harm without anyone raising an alarm. I want to be honest with you about something, because I think pretending the appeal of alcohol does not exist is why so many health messages fail. Alcohol works. It is a genuinely effective social tool. Studies confirm what humans have known intuitively for thousands of years. Modest quantities of alcohol help strangers bond, lower the barriers of social anxiety, and generate feelings of warmth and connection. The endorphins it releases are the same chemicals we produce when we laugh with people we love. That is real. That is biochemistry. And pretending it is not real is how the conversation gets dismissed before it starts. But here's what I want you to hold alongside that truth. We have been paying for those moments of connection with our health, with years of our lives, and the invoice eventually arrives, whether we are ready for it or not. Alcohol kills 500,000 people a year in accidents alone, and more than half of the people who die in alcohol-related car crashes were not even drinking. They just happened to be on the same road as someone who was. Every year, 600,000 babies are born with fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, a lifelong, irreversible condition caused entirely by drinking during pregnancy. Every year, 50% of violent crimes and sexual assaults are committed by drunk offenders. Alcohol does not only destroy the person drinking, it reaches out and destroys the people around them. The truth that matters is that I am not here to tell you that you must never drink again. I am not your doctor, and this video is not a prescription. What I am telling you, what the research tells you, clearly and unambiguously, is that there is no safe level of alcohol. The word used by health authorities is not safe, it is low risk, and that distinction matters. Every drink carries a cost. Most of the time, that cost is invisible. It is being paid slowly in cellular damage and inflamed tissue and narrowing arteries and shrinking neurons while you go about your life feeling fine. The bill accumulates for years before it arrives as a diagnosis, and when it arrives, much of what built it cannot be undone. What I want you to do today is simple. Make the decision consciously. Not because it's Friday, not because everyone else is, not because you are stressed or bored or anxious and the glass is just there. Make it with full knowledge of what is in that glass, what it does to your brain in the first 30 minutes, what it does to your liver over 10 years, what it does to your cancer risk with every single drink. You deserve that information. You deserve to choose with your eyes open. Because here is what I have come to believe after all of this research. The most powerful thing alcohol steals from us is not our health or our years, though it steals both. It is our ability to connect authentically, without a chemical crutch, to walk into a room and be fully, uncomfortably, powerfully ourselves, without needing anything in a glass to make that feel possible. That version of you exists, and it does not need alcohol to show up. If this video showed you something you needed to see, share it. Not for the numbers, but because someone in your life is right now pouring their 4th drink this week and calling it unwinding, and they need to hear what their body is actually going through. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and I will keep bringing you the research-backed truth this channel is built to deliver. Take care of yourself, your real self, the one that was never made better by alcohol, only made quieter.